The Escape Your Limit podcast gets close up and personal with some of the leading entrepreneurs in the world of fitness and wellness. You'll find out what drives them, fuels them, and motivates them to give one more rep, even when no one else is counting. So now over to your host, serial entrepreneur and co-founder of Escape Fitness, one of the world's leading functional training brands, Matthew Januszek.
So today we're here in Beverly Hills, Los Angeles, in Royal Personal Training with the owner, CEO, Shahin.
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Shahin.
Likewise, thank you.
Thanks for inviting us down.
Of course, my pleasure.
I'm going to ask you before we go if you take me on the back of the Ducati on the way.
Sure, I will. When we're done, I will take you. I have two, so you can take one when I take one.
I think it's the first gym I've been in where there's where they have a Ducati in the front.
This should tell you a little bit about my gym and me.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm all about cars and bikes and everything that goes fast forward.
Yeah?
So I want to be able to have that a part of me for the rest of my life, if it's at my gym or if it's at my house or whatever.
Fast-paced life.
Yes, exactly.
So Shahin, just be good just to take us back a little bit. You know, we're here. This is kind of where you are today. You know, you've created an impressive business, but where did it all start? You're not from Beverly Hills, from what I understand.
No, I'm born and raised in Norway.
Norway.
So
what was this city, town?
like 20 minutes away from the capital of Oslo.
Oh, okay.
A small town called Bærum.
Right.
So I was from there, born and raised there. My grow up was a way different than the life I'm living right now. But
tell us a bit about what that town was like. You know, was there lots of sort of celebs and personal training studios?
Not at all. Not at all. It was definitely the opposite of where we are today. Very cold.
Yeah.
A lot of snow, long winter. People just minding their own business. I was doing a lot of different stuff in Norway. I wasn't really a school kid.
No.
So I was very young when I decided not to continue school.
Right. Was it just didn't interest you, or you just?
It just didn't do anything for me.
Right.
I remember I was 14 years old. I was working at a gas station beside going to the school, and then I remember my first paycheck from that gas station. It's like 1,000 something Norwegian krone.
Right.
$120, $150.
Okay.
But I remember I bought a pair of shoes that I enjoyed more than anything at that moment. And I'm like...
Do you remember what they were?
It was some old... No, it wasn't really any specific brand. It was just a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
That feeling, I really liked that. I liked that I was able to like work, earn money, and turn it into something that really gave me joy. Me going to school, sitting at the school bench, I didn't really pay that much attention, so it was just a waste for me. So I'm like, what if I stop there and work more and make more money and buy nicer things?
Right.
And that's how the whole started. So I stopped going to school and I started.
What age did you leave your school then?
Probably was 15.
Oh, okay. Similar age to me then.
Yeah.
Would have probably sat next to each other in the class then. But
Exactly, right. I was a trouble.
Were you good at anything at school, or you?
No. Gymnastic.
Okay.
Loved that.
Yeah.
Got good rates. I was playing soccer, so I was very active.
Yeah.
I loved everything with sport.
Right.
Loved everything with sport. I wanted to try it out all, like ice hockey, soccer, volleyball, handball, boxing, skiing. I wanted to try everything. Tennis. I really loved sport. So turned more and more into me just being very athletic, being very active in the sport industry, and just work.
Yeah.
I was working my ass off.
So when you went left school and worked in a gas station, or did? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I left work and I worked at a gas station for almost 2 years.
Right.
Worked for a gas station for almost 2 years, and then on the side I was doing a lot of sport back then. I was playing on a high level of soccer.
Okay.
I was doing that. I really saw myself become a professional soccer player.
Yeah.
And my family was supporting me a lot when it came to my soccer, a lot.
And were you living at home still at that time?
Yeah, I was living at home. I was 18 years old when I bought my first condo in an amazing place in Norway called Nesøya.
Right.
It's like the Bel Air in Beverly Hills. Like beautiful, brand new, just a small one bedroom, but for
So
being 18 years old.
Because at 18, that's quite. Did you sort of think about it? You just wanted to get out and buy a place, or was it more of an investment? Or
It was more an investment. It was more using my money in the right way.
Right.
I was 18 and I had my first condo and a car, and it was all loan, but my salary was so high, so I was able to get a loan.
Right.
So.
And that was still in the gas station, was it?
Yes.
Oh, right.
And I remember I borrowed the down payment from my dad to buy the house. But back then, the first time buyer, it wasn't really much, but he helped me out a lot with the down payment for that house, for the apartment that I bought. I paid him back within 6 to 12 months. I bought a beautiful Mercedes. I remember E-Class. I was still working at the gas station, and my boss was just like, but the funny story is I was working from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. So I remember, and my drive from my house to the work was 8 to 12 minutes, depending on the traffic. Traffic isn't that crazy like here over there. But that 12 minutes of the feeling being in that nice, beautiful car, but because I was working so many hours, it just didn't make sense for me to have an expensive car like that just sitting at the gas pump while I was
Probably
working.
had a better car than your boss then.
Huh?
You had a better car than your boss.
Yeah. So, but just that 8 minutes, 10 minutes in that beautiful car just like was enough for me.
Right.
No, I was working my ass off to pay the payments on the car.
Right.
But and the house, of course, but it was enough for me. I spent my money a little bit stupid when I was younger, but just that feeling, it was just amazing. And I think that's when it really hit me that I just liked the feeling of that lifestyle, just the comfort and the nice things.
Was that around you? Were your friends doing that, or was it?
I had few friends that had nice cars, but they were 10 years older than me. They were like 5 to 10 years older than me. All of them were. When I was 18 years old in Norway, I was one of the person that was making most money in my year, born in '89 in my city.
Okay.
You could see it. But I worked a lot of hours beside the gas station. I was driving cab.
Right.
Like at night times. I remember weekends for days I was driving. So I worked a lot, but I liked it. Like my work wasn't anything I was extremely proud of announcing. I was a trainee at a car headquarter of Citroën. It's a car brand we don't really have out here.
Citroën.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I was the one walking in first thing in the morning, turning the coffee on for people. I was the last one leaving, making sure the place was clean. Like I had a lot of different jobs that I wasn't really that proud of, but it made me money that I was able to make me happy.
Right. Yeah.
So.
What was the inspiration at that young age? Because most people are, want to get girls, go out, party.
So for me, it was more. I promised, my family raised me extremely well. They were very supportive in everything.
Right.
And obviously they weren't that happy about me not going to the school because they both were great at school. My brother, amazing at school. My sister, amazing at school. So what really happened with me, So I did all this because I just wanted to prove to them that it's a reason.
Right.
Like school wasn't for me, but I promise I will make you guys proud. So
right.
I tried, and I'm still trying to create a lifestyle that can support me, my future family, and my family.
Yeah. So it's a bit. So some of that was to kind of for your parents to show them that you.
Yes, that it's a reason that I was giving you guys a hard time as a child because I wasn't really paying attention at school. So.
Right.
So they used to call my dad all the time to
Right.
pick me up from school. So he had to leave his work to come pick me up. So it was hard for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I really didn't think about partying and stuff that much. I kind of did that when I was a lot younger.
Right.
So by the time I was 18, 19, 20, all I had in my head was work. That was all I did,
Right.
work.
So what happened? So you worked for Citroen, and what did you think there? You wanted to do more? Or
I wanted to be a sales representative at Citroen. I remember at that point, there was no way. Like the girl that was mentoring me, that was working at Citroen with me, she said, Shahin, apply for this position that came available, and I did, and nothing really happened. After me being in the company for almost 1.5 years,
Right.
did a great job, but because I didn't have an education, for me, Norway was extremely hard because Norway is a country with education. So if you really don't have education, the jobs that I got, like the job that I got at Citroën, was not under my name.
Right.
I had to use a different name. I had to use a Norwegian name to actually get into the interview.
Really?
So when I did, I told them, I said, this is not my name.
Wow.
But everything else,
Why is that? Because they choose based on the names, or is it?
I don't really know, but I had a hard time getting jobs in Norway
Really?
because of my name.
Really?
So
Because it wasn't a Norwegian sounding name.
it wasn't a
Right.
Norwegian sounding name, but the second I got my foot in, because I knew that that's the only thing that I needed.
Right.
Any jobs that I had in my past, I never got fired. I always did a great job, and they've been so surprised. It was hard, but
So you got into sales then, the girl helped you?
I applied for it.
Yeah.
I never got the position.
okay.
I never got the position because my education wasn't good enough.
Right.
So after that, I was more just doing my sports. I had a girlfriend that they were doing a lot of cross-country skiing.
Right.
So when they went to trips to the cabins with the family and stuff, they used to take me, and up in the cabins in the mountain in Norway, the only thing to do is skiing and stuff. So I had to start doing that, and the dad was extremely impressed by my skills. I'd never done it before. So the dad started helping me, guiding me, getting me into a team. So I started doing that, and then the next thing you know, I was in the Iranian national team of cross-country skiing.
Really?
Yeah. I did well in that.
Iranian national.
Iranian national team in cross-country skiing. Not that hard to get into, but I did. It was fun.
I guess there's not a lot of snow in.
It's not
Iran,
a
is
lot
it?
of snow, no. It's not. So they used to travel a lot. I used to go with them. It was fun, but I was still. My main job, I will say, back then was Citroën and driving cab. I was done with the gas station, so I was just doing that. But then I was very a person that really loved the competition.
Right.
I was at a team.
Competitive.
Yeah, I was at a team in cycling, and it was this. I remember it was this guy that set an amazing record in Norway, climbing 10,000 meters over the ocean in less than 24 hours, and it was all over the news, and everyone was talking about it. And I remember my trainer said the only crazy person I know that are able to do something like this is Shahin. And the next thing you know, the media is calling me, hearing rumors about me trying to beat Martin's record.
Really?
And when they called me and said that, I said, yeah, that's true, but it wasn't really true. But when they called me, I'm like, yeah, it's true. And they're like, when are you going to do it? I said, next week. And they're like, oh my God. And then it was all this hype around this, and I really didn't know what I was putting myself into. And then
So so what is that? Just to clarify then, what did he do? What was the?
so in Norway, it's a mountain that is 326 meters over the ocean.
Right.
So if you bike one time up, that's 326 meters.
Right.
So this guy biked up and down 27 times, equal
27 times?
equal 10,000 meter over the ocean. So he did that in like 22 hours and something without any break. So it's insane. It's just something like crazy, you know? So I said yes, and this is exactly, that's what's in me that like takes me where I am today and other places. Like I love competition, you know? So
what's going through your head? Or you just said yeah?
For 1 second, I'm like, when we hang up the phone, I'm like, I heard about it, but I really didn't really know exactly what it was. So I started like looking into it. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, this guy spent like 22 hours on the bike without getting off. 10,000 meter over the ocean, up and down. Like I've been there before. Usually what every cyclist does is do one lap up, finishing the whole the training with one lap up.
Okay.
And so I went there the same day, and I went up, and it was fine. But it's tiring. It's like 326 meters. It's like 2-point-something kilometers. It's far. It's almost like it's very far. So, but it's more like a mental thing. So I just had to prepare myself. I had 5 days to prepare myself. So I did it, and I failed.
All right.
I failed at 24 laps.
Wow.
And
it's kind of not failing, I guess.
And then it was all over the news, you know, attempt to beat this and fail and this and that, and it just got into my head, and I'm like, no. I said I'm going to do it next week, and then it was all the hype up again. He's going to do it again, and I did it, and I did 30 laps. I did over 12,000 meter in less than 23 hours. Like I think it was it was actually 23 hours and 22 minutes, but that record is still there.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, so I did that, and
so did that kind of make a difference to what you did in your career? You know, did that, because I guess you must have been fairly popular as a result of doing that.
So that brought my name up like pretty high in the like industry and sport, like especially cycling. A lot of people knew about me. It was all over the place. For people that was into sport and cycling, knew who I was. And I'm not gonna lie, I loved it, you know? So I just continued competing, and I did well for myself when I competed. When I got a number on my shirt and I knew it was a competition, I did pretty well for myself.
Yeah. Would you say that was quite a turning point in, you know, mentally saying you can, or is that something you'd always been like? You know, you just always accepted it?
I always been like that, but I think after doing what I did by climbing over 12,000 meters over the ocean and being on a bike for almost 24 hours, second time after failing, being able to succeed is more than just, if you're able to do that, you're able to do a lot of things. It's a lot of mental thing. It's a willpower that rare people have.
Right.
Like to be able to do something like that, it's beyond craziness. Like, and this was during, like, at the top it was like icy and snow. So at my fourth round down, I slipped and I got a cut over my eye, and I had to replace the front tire of my bike. It was icy at the top. So it was pretty cold. So when I came down and turned to start go up, my knees was hurting because of the cold.
Right.
So it took me like 4, 5, 6 minutes to warm them up again. So I think that did a lot with me.
Yeah.
It gave that. I was young. I was like 20 years old, 21 years old. But that answers a lot of my questions.
Yeah.
When I did that.
Yeah.
So
where did you? What happened? You know, what was life like in sort of following that then?
So from that, then I used to, as I said, being sport a lot. I continue with my cycling, but the cycling didn't really pay for my stuff. I had great sponsorships, but I still had bills to pay. I still had to see if this was something I want to do in the future. What was I gonna do? So I still was driving cab. So all this sport was during the day, and at the night I was just working. And at one night people were working, bringing in 1,500 to 2,000 kron, which is like $300-500, and I was always doubling the number. So the person I was working for gave me a car, bought me a car, and said, "Hey, this is your car. You work with this car, and you take it whatever you want. that's how happy he was with me. Like people that usually brought in 1,500, 2,000, 25, I was doubling the numbers all the time. So I was just, my sister moved here, my brother moved here, my parents was like back and forth from Iran to Norway, from Norway to LA to visit the kids. And then they were all about me moving out here.
Right.
But I was enjoying my sport there. I was driving cab. I was living my day in Norway really day by day. I was making decent income. I had a beautiful apartment, I had a beautiful car. I love what I was doing. I had a girlfriend. So it was very hard for me. I didn't see any reason for me to move to LA besides just doing it for my parents, you know, because they wanted the kids to be together.
Right. So why did you move then?
So I guess, as I said, I went through like a lot of difficult times in Norway.
Yeah.
That just, at the end, it was either going to go extremely bad, or that's about it. Like what I was making as a living based on my education was gonna be it. I don't think I was gonna make much more. I was making a decent living, but I always knew that I wanted more, and based on what I did as a child, I feel like I needed to do more just to make my family happy and give back for what they did for me. So I moved.
So you jumped on a flight to LA then, basically?
I jumped on a flight to LA, and then I remember I was living with my sister here at Crescent, and the first year or the first 6 months was a mess.
Really? Because I just moved, I've moved with my wife and 2 children, so I've been here 8 weeks as well. So I was living in England. That's where the business from, all my family. They were the opposite, they didn't want me to come.
Yeah.
I wanted to stay here, so it was tough when you got here, was it?
It was extremely tough because I really didn't have anything.
Right.
And for me, the hardest part was I wasn't even able to speak the language at all.
Oh, right, yeah.
I dropped out of school, I couldn't speak English. It was like I could speak enough to maybe go to a grocery shop and buy some milk or something, but it was hard. And I really didn't know. I was kind of lost. I didn't know what to do.
Did you have a plan when you came?
I didn't have any plan. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to start.
Right.
And my sister was like, relax, you just got here, just relax, just like try to like go places, try to learn their language. But I can't really relax. If I go, even if I don't really need to be here, but I'm here every day because that's the only way to grow. Yeah. Like I know if I'm not gonna be here, I don't have to be here. I still make money by me not being here, but I have to be here to look at numbers every day, to be able to grow the business. Okay? So when I came here without a plan, without knowing anything, goes days by day without doing anything, it was driving me crazy. So since I was into fitness, the first thing I did was to look up a gym. I found a gym on Pico, 24 hours fitness, like literally 1.5, 2 miles away from where my sister was living. So no cars, nothing. So I walked there, and on my way there, I passed by a hotel called Mr. C Hotel. And my sister always told me like being a valet is like good to start off with. You get good tips, talk with people. It's an easy job. They don't expect too much of you. So I had that in the back of my head. And when I saw the hotel, I'm like, okay. So I did my workout, and during my workout, I remember like toughen up, and on the way back stop by because I was very nervous. Like I used to be very shy and very reserved, but now I'm more like I don't really care. Like if I want something, I go, and the worst thing is a no, and it's okay, I'll go back to something else. So I remember I stopped by, introduced myself, talked to the manager. He said, come back tomorrow, talk to the owner. So I came back tomorrow, I talked to him. I said, listen, I want to be able to park some cars and stuff. And he asked me if I know how to drive a stick shift. I said, yeah, I'm from Europe. So he asked my resume. I didn't have anything, but I think he liked me, and he trusted me. He was like, okay. So without any really interview, any resume, anything, he actually gave me a chance.
Oh, right.
So I was super excited, like extremely excited. This is only after like few weeks being here.
Okay.
So I started that, and I was working hours, man. I was working from first I started working from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. I did that for a few months, but after 2 weeks my paycheck was like $500, $550, and I'm like, Brandon, my paycheck's like, he was like, you're doing a great job, Shahin. I'm like, but is there any way I can make more? It was like, if you work night shift, it's $12 hour versus $10 hour. I'm like, okay, sure, I work night shift. So that was 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Right.
So I did that for like a few months, and like my paycheck was like $750, $800. I'm like, Brandon, come on, like, and I knew how much it cost living here because I had asked my sister about how much she pays her rent, like the dinner she goes to, the lunches she goes to. And I'm like, if my paycheck is like $800 and her rent is like $3,000 and her dinner is $250, like this is not gonna even cover my rent. Like, and Brandon was like, well, you wanna work more? Brandon was my boss. I'm like, sure. He said, okay, work an evening shift. So I started at 11 p.m. I worked to 7 a.m., continued from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. I did this for 6 months straight. Paycheck was like $1,250, $1,300 every 2 weeks. So I was making $2,800 with tips and stuff. I was making $3,500, $4,000 a month,
wow.
which was still not as much for the amount of work I was doing. Like, it was events at the hotel. I was running across the street. Like, my shirt was all wet, yellow, sweat. Like, it was hot standing out there during the day, getting all this shit talking to. Like, I was sitting there at night, you had those drunk people coming, me barely speaking English. They were talking so much shit to me, putting me down. At one point, I picked up my phone and I told my sister, I said, I'm done. I'm going back. I can't do this anymore. And she was like, please be strong, please be patient, trust me, you want to be here. Like, I know you're a hard worker. This is the place to work the way you do. It's gonna pay off, just be patient. And thank her for saying that. Because at one point I was gonna go. It was so bad.
Yeah.
So I met this one girl while I was there. And she saw the good in me, and she was like, you can't be here. She said, what do you like to do? I said, anything. I like training, I like doing this. And she helped me. She asked if I have a resume. I said no. So she helped me putting together a resume. She helped me take me to interview to Equinox. With all odds against me, the guy asked me, why should I hire you?
This is Equinox, is it?
This is Equinox.
Right,
Your
okay.
resume is written from your girlfriend. You don't even know what's in your resume. You barely speak English. Like, you can train, yes, but that's it. I said, Dylan, trust me, please. Just hire me, I promise. I'm not gonna disappoint you. So he hired me, and I just started off. I was there every morning from 5 a.m. and he gave me a blue shirt. I was picking up weights, cleaning the floor. And I came up to him, I said, I want to train people. Like, I don't want to pick up. He said, well, you have to get clients. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, yes, you have to get clients. Like, those people you see wearing a black shirt training people, they're clients. Like, if you want to be like them, because I said I don't want to be the person picking up towels after people. I want to train people. It was like, I'm like, how do I do that? He said, you have to talk to people. I'm like, I can't even talk. Like, I was so shy, I was so nervous. So I remember I woke up every morning, I went downstairs to Equinox. I was waiting outside of the locker rooms, women's and boys. The second they came out, somehow I offered them a free training before they even start getting on the stairs or on the treadmills or anything. So I was training 8 to 12 people for free every day because I didn't know how to sit down and do a consultation with you, but I turned one of them into an actually paid client every day. So within a month, I was a full-time trainer at Equinox. I was wearing black shirt, training people, training
And the language didn't get in the way?
Sometimes, but not really. They thought it was cute. I showed them how to train, and as a trainer, it doesn't really need to talk as much.
Right.
They honestly thought it was cute. 90% of my clientele was female.
Right.
I was showing them, correcting them. I could do that. And I look at myself as a great trainer. I was training them. People start watching. People start laughing, making fun of my exercises. Now everyone is doing them. So it was funny. Day by day, my numbers were going up. And at one point, I was like the number 4 top trainer in the whole nation. of Equinox trainers. Like we're talking over 60,000 trainers. I was number 4. I was the top trainer in the club.
How long did that take?
6 months.
6 months.
I was at Equinox. I was pushing over 200 every month.
200 a month.
So.
And what do you think kind of got you there? Was it just the hard work and the?
It was the hard work and the paychecks going up.
Right.
It was the money going up, and I loved it. I was used to the paychecks for what I was doing there.
Right.
And here I loved where I was. I loved what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I was making decent money out of it. But it came to a point that stopped too.
Right.
Like no more room for growth. That's it. And that's when I started sitting down and thinking that they're charging so much, and it's just not, the system there is just not fair.
Right.
They're charging so much and they're paying the trainers this, and I'm doing technically everything. And I'm like, why would I bust my ass off and make them so much money when I can do it myself?
Right.
So I remember I went up to my boss that hired me, and I said, Dylan, I gotta talk to you. He said, you're not leaving, he tells me. And I said, what do you mean? He said, why are you gonna talk to me? Everything is going fine, why are you gonna talk to me? So I told him I want to open up my own gym. And he just laughed and he said, let's take a talk. And we went for dinner together, me and him. And he said, when you came in, I knew you were crazy, but I didn't know you were this crazy. He said, he's my age, 1 year older than me. Been with Equinox for 7 years. Extremely good manager, extremely good. He said, I have what it takes to open up a gym, and you have what it takes to open up a gym. Together, I think we'll be good. I'm not sure you can do this alone, but together we're able to do it.
Right.
So I said, sure, I'm down, let's go. And he said, well, he was stressing out. I was ready. And so we start planning this. I got myself out, started looking. We found this place. We actually had some investors for another gym.
Right.
A day before we were gonna sign the lease, the investors backed out.
Oh, really?
So everything happens for a reason. It's funny, yeah. The day before we were gonna sign everything, they backed out. And I was out of Equinox, he was out of Equinox.
Oh, man.
And we're sitting there like just so confused and so like literally fucked.
Yeah.
Had no idea what we're gonna do next. Because it costs a lot of money to open up a gym.
Yeah.
So,
particularly if you're a foreigner and and credit.
So we were just scratching each other's head and trying to find some way to make it happen. We find this place. I was talking to the landlord so much, like every day, and he was like, listen, the numbers just doesn't approve, you guys. Like, I'm like, listen, Chris, that's his name. I said, we can pay. We had like a budget for like 60-something thousand. I said, I can pay 6 months rent. Please just give this place to us. If we can't pay rent or anything, just take the security deposit and we're out.
Right.
Like, you have nothing to lose, please. He did us a big favor and gave this place to us. And for some crazy reason, we got to different hotels. We went on Craigslist. We rented a U-Haul. We went to picked up equipment, like did the construction ourselves,
Really?
painting the walls ourselves, taking the carpet out ourselves. My back was killing me. We're just looking at each other. This is New Year's 2 years ago. We were here like 5 in the morning.
So what was in it before? Was it just empty shell?
Empty space.
Right.
It used to be a furniture place, but it was all an empty room.
Right.
So we did all that together. We start slowly training people.
And what did you do for kit? What did you get? What did you do for equipment? How did you?
We went on Craigslist.
Oh, you just bought it secondhand?
Yeah, secondhand. Everything secondhand. Like 40 different colors, like red, white, blue, like yellow. Like it was a mess. But somehow we just had to like make it happen. And for 6, 7, 8 months, the wheels were barely going around. Like.
Right.
For the first 6 months, we weren't really taking out anything from the business. It started going into the savings a little bit. We weren't making money, but we were working so hard, me and him.
So you're just struggling to get enough clients in to...
Yeah.
Right.
It was like a startup business, like no one really trusted us to like really come and like put in money in this place. It looked a little bit Mickey Mouse. 8 months, 9 months into it, my ex-business partner, he goes to Dallas to visit his family. And when he comes back, he said, Shahin, can we talk? I said, sure, what's going on? And he said, I realized that this business is you. He said, I realized I have nothing to do here. And if I was here or not here, we would be in the same position, and everything that is here is because of you. And I don't feel I deserve any of this. And if it's okay for you, I'm out. And I'm just sitting there saying, okay, I respect you, I want to support you, I want to help you out, and I respect your honesty. We separate in good terms, but I was so nervous, like unbelievable. So
you had 100% of a business that was not really
going that well. So I knew that I really had to make this happen because it was so much money invested. Really not that much money, but for me it was everything I had.
Yeah.
I really didn't have anything. I really didn't grow into any money. Like, this was all I had. If I was gonna fail this, I would have moved back to Norway.
Right.
Like, I would never stay here because of my pride.
Yeah.
Like, I did all this based on my pride when all odds was against me, when everyone told me you're not going to be able to make it. So if I had failed then, or if anything, if at one point I'm going to fail in my life, what would I do? I'm going to move back.
Yeah, right.
That's not an option for me. I don't even think about it for 1 second. I don't even have, when I do stuff, I don't even have a plan B at all.
Right.
That's how confident I am. So I spent a lot of hours, I spent a lot of days, I spent a lot of months just really trying to figure out what to do, how to grow this business, what I can cut. There wasn't really anything I could cut out as far as expenses. So
because this is you.
It was the rent, it was just me, and the equipment was paid for. So like, I'm trying to. I had a lot of help from my brother. He was by my side, helping me a lot, training people. I had to focus more on the business.
So was that sort of moving from more training to sort of looking at growing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So when Dylan was here, I was training 12 to 15 people every day, and
Right.
he was more the one taking care of the consultations, taking care of how to grow the business. So when he left, I started going more into that, and it scared me because my language barrier wasn't good. So when I picked up the phone and called somebody, it didn't take me serious for a second.
Really?
Like, it was extremely hard for me to be able to do some marketing or any sales or anything, or for have anyone take me seriously.
Right, okay.
Extremely hard because, as you hear, I still have an accent. It's certain words that are still new for me, and I'm still in the process of learning, but back then a lot worse. So
Right.
for someone that's going to come and invest in you or pay, it doesn't like look as professional, you
Right.
know? So, but I started going more into the business and back why I did this and why I'm keeping it private. At that point when he left, it opened up a lot of doors. Should I do membership? Should I do classes? Should I bring this in? Should I do this? Should I open it to the public? And I said, no, let's just stick to the plan of a private, high-end training facility that offers one-on-one personal training.
And why did you do that? Did you look at what was around?
Because, yes, I looked at what was around, I looked where I came from, I looked at Equinox,
Yeah.
and I asked a lot of people, and they didn't really want to be at a place with too much scene, too much people. They wanted more private. And I tried to put myself into their shoes and they're into mine. And me, if I'm really taking the training serious, I want to go somewhere that are serious, that are trainers, that are doing this for a living, not part-time job.
Yeah.
Like at Equinox and any other gyms, we have trainers, good trainers, but 90% of the trainers are trainers that are just doing this as a part-time job because they have something else going on
Right,
in their
okay.
life. And it's extremely easy becoming a trainer and get a second source of income from the training while they're studying to become this, or why they're actors or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So I said, first of all, I'm gonna hire trainers that their only source of income is gonna be from Royal, from
Right.
training. Because that's when I know they're quality trainers and they truly care about what they do and that's their passion. If we have that, give that over to a client, the client will notice.
Right.
For me, it was all about brand and reputation, a lot. I would never ever let anyone walk out these doors with anything negativity, anything bad. Like I've done a lot from my own pocket or from me to make sure to keep the clients happy.
Right. And was that was always from the beginning? You always, even when you were second-hand equipment? And,
yes,
right.
yes. Since day one, because that was my brand. So when all this happened, I went back and I looked at why I did this, and I really believed in it. So from that on, and it wasn't like I had an extra money so I could do some changes. I just had to grow whatever that it was at that moment.
Right.
So I got a lot of help from my brother. I brought in another person, Sam,
Right.
that is now killing it. He came
He's a
in.
trainer, is he? Or is
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
pretty fit-looking guy.
Yeah. So it was me, Sam, and my brother.
Right.
And together we were like three brothers. Everyone had each other back and did everything to make this happen, and a lot of support from those two helped me grow my business a lot. We started getting more people in, so then I started sitting with $1,000 at the end of the month.
Right.
The second month I was with 1,800. Okay, felt good. The third month I was at 2,800.
All right.
So it started going in the right direction. I never touched any of the money, just enough to pay my rent.
Right. Okay.
Just enough to pay my rent. I was working my ass off, and things were happening to a point that I had maybe 10,000 saved in the account, and I spent that into the business again.
Right.
I didn't spend that to go out or buy my clothes or
Yeah.
buy another apartment or another car. I spent that back into the business.
And how was that? How did you kind of get that growth? Was it just people started to hear about you and your reputation?
People,
or?
more referrals. I spent a lot of my time giving people some comp sessions.
Right.
Because being from the outside looking in, especially walking in and looking at the place, didn't really give the best first impression. But I knew the quality that I had, so I wanted to give that to them, for them to get a taste of it and then see what it was all about. Yes, it's not a 5 stars, 5 diamond gym yet. It will be in the future. Right now, our brand and the trainers are 5 stars trainers. So I spent a lot of my time bringing people in, comping them a session, 2 sessions, and then we turn them into sales, and then we start referring, they start referring, and that's how the whole started. I was sitting on my Instagram, DMing people left and right about training. Got them in, turned them into sales. I was very hungry. When someone walks into my office, they're gonna buy because I know what I'm selling and I know how important this is for someone.
Right.
So as I showed you on the InBody, whatever that writes out, I'm gonna sell you based on you, your numbers.
Yeah.
So that's how we slowly start to grow, and then start hiring more trainers. Every money I start making, I was just putting it into the gym, and I am.
Right.
Still am.
Yeah.
Because there's always room for improvement, and in the future, I want to be a 5-star, 5-diamond private high-end training facility.
And you've just recently redone, is it?
Yeah. So we went from 3 trainers to 18 trainers.
Right.
We went from 2,600 square feet to a little bit over 6,000 square feet.
Right.
We went from no showers to multiple showers. We went from no juice bar to a juice bar. So I spent 4.5-5 months on a major construction and expansion of this gym that was killing me. That was stressing me out because it was supposed to cost this much and take 5 weeks, but it cost me 4 times more and took me 5 months.
Right.
But I feel like going through what I did during the construction and everything in my past life just made me so strong. I had people asking me if I can go back and change some stuff that I did in my childhood or whatever. Would I? No, I wouldn't.
Right.
Because I am the person I am today based on what I've been through.
Right. And with the when you redid this this facility, then how many years had you gone on with the current?
2 years.
2 years.
So I went 2 years, and I was absolutely not ready for that at all.
Right.
We were doing great, but at my old location, I still had 500 more sessions, a room of sessions to grow in. my overhead was low. It was no reason for me to do this. Like when I told people I want to expand, they were like, "You crazy? It's too early."
Yeah.
And I did it, and it doubled my numbers.
Really? Wow.
Because it just gives a different, like the vision I have in my head, no one else sees beside me. So when I tell them what I want to do, they don't really know what's going on in my head. And this is the vision that I saw for myself when I wanted to expand. I was sitting on 6 trainers doing 550, 600 sessions a month. When I wanted to expand, I wanted to fill it up with 21 trainers, being full-time trainers, doing 1,000 sessions. Those numbers will fit for my expansion. Those will cover it and give me a comfortable lifestyle.
So you knew the numbers before you planned to do the investment, and that happened, basically.
I did it, and I have 18 trainers, but we're doing 1,200 sessions.
Right.
And I'm doing better than what I was expected.
Right.
So.
And what do you think what are some of the sort of secrets of success? Obviously, you'd always had the brand and the quality before this, but as the environment, what are the things that have sort of...
See, for me, what's very important that I tell everyone during meetings and anything is like, I never did this because of the money.
Right.
I did this because I believed in it. And everyone that works for me, I've been in their position. Like I dropped out of school, I've been a trainer, I cleaned toilets before, I work at a gas station, I picked up weights before, so I'm a fair person. I have fully understanding for everyone that works around me. I never let them know that I'm their boss.
Right.
I never use that word. For me, this is a very family-oriented business.
Yeah.
Everyone, 18 trainers, 20 employees that I have, they're my family. I will literally do anything for them, and they know. And it gives out to the clientele. No? So I think that's the difference, because as this place is a place for my trainers to wake up, wanted to come. I hit my million last month. It's $1 million business. We're big. We're doing almost as much sessions that Equinox Beverly Hills is doing. They're doing 1,800, 2,000 sessions. I'm 1,200, 1,300. I will do 2,000 in no time.
Right.
So even though the numbers are high and this is a very professional business, it's still family. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know how to explain it, but
so the people are kind of key to the family that you create with the other trainers is a key.
Yes.
Success.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, then please go over to iTunes and subscribe to the Escape Your Limits podcast. Leave a review, leave a comment. It really would help us a lot to continue to keep these going.